Lindsey Mitchell.
Hi guys, I'm not very good at these. I'm just an emotional wreck. But on behalf of me and my cousins, he was just the most caring person I've ever met. I always looked up to him, no matter what he did. He always cared for others. Like, I'm sorry. I don't know what to say. It's just very emotional. All I can say is I love you, Granddaddy, and I wish I got to say bye to you.
Thank you, Lindsey Mitchell. It's all right. Either way. Okay, here comes Paul Mitchell. This is my dad's older brother.
I hate to stand in the way of enjoying some more food here, but I'll make this as short as I can. First, I thought the family should try and have equal time with some of the bikers, surprisingly, and we'd be here till dark. So I'll speak as quickly as I can. At one time, Lee and I, actually several years ago, looked sort of alike. We both have a lot of facial fur. Mine was sort of gray and stringy, but Lee's was real fuzzy and Snow White. And so you know who was Scrooge and who got the Santa Claus business as it came on. I'd like to mention just a few things about Lee in his younger days, and that is he was pretty normal when he was preschooler, except for one thing. He was 4 years old or so, going on 5, and he didn't talk at all. He had a vocabulary of one word. That's what it was. And his sister, Monta, and I, we sort of were hired, you might say, or had to decipher and decode what Lee's topic of conversation was when he went, and They almost didn't let him into grammar school, actually into kindergarten. Because at that time, he only had 3 words in his vocabulary. He still had and 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 you can't get into kindergarten that way. But anyway, with a slow beginning, Lee went on and got a college degree, and actually postgraduate. So I think he got a master's degree here at UC Davis, if I recall right. So, but in our adult lives, we spent most of the time 200 miles apart, and so as a result, we didn't bump into each other constantly. We'd make visits and have reunions. And remember one time, now I understand this, but I was brushing my teeth in a restroom down there in the middle of Death Valley, and lo and behold, my brother comes walking in. I hadn't seen him in months, I hadn't even talked to him in months, and now I know he was either, I don't know, it was probably he's at 508 or something, and maybe or double century. Anyway, I might just mention a couple of other things that happened. They mentioned a lot of words about some of his attributes. I know that as far as most of you people, the bikers, are really high on his commitment, dedication, and probably his passion. I haven't heard that word. Some of the students use the word motivation. But I'd like to add a couple more. One of them is, you might say, uniqueness. And even though we didn't see Lee very often, but we did have a lot of family reunions and make special trips. Sometimes we'd drive up to Woodland and stay all night. In fact, I get into some real hot discussions with my younger brother, and poor Shirley had to act as a referee, just about. Things got pretty hot. And by the way, Shirley really deserves all the credit. She is probably the best thing that ever happened to Lee. She was an angel working overtime, especially in the last several months. If I was a good Catholic, I've told this to many people, if I was a good Catholic, I'd nominate her for sainthood. But that's what I think of Shirley. But anyway, let's move on. After Monta and I would sort of decipher these things for Lee. By the way, my sister Monta is probably a little shy. I'm not sure she'll be up here, but she, bless her, is our chief, #1, primary, one and only family historian. And without her, we lose track of each other. So bless you, Monta here. She traveled all the way from Bellingham just for this afternoon. Anyway, let me finish up here so we can get on with the next speaker, or whatever it is. What do I have? Skip that, skip that, skip that. Oh, I was going to mention one. We did these reunions. We would have these bashes, Mitchell bashes. Sort of started with our father, Lee's father. It started out when he got to burn the mortgage of the first house he ever got paid off on. And so what happened is every time any one of the siblings would have a 5-year big birthday, biggie we call it, or big birthday, we'd have a Mitchell bash. So we'd have them all over it, and then sometimes, well, we're passing it on to the next generation, I might add. But we have one up in Bellingham, Washington, at Monta's. And just to show you, I'm going to add this word uniqueness to read these attributes, and that is, you know, it was Monta's birthday, and, you know, we bought her a birthday present, and I bought her a box of dried fruit from Fresno. But what do you think Lee brought her? Only a few people know, I guess. I'll tell you what it was. First of all, he presented Monta's birthday present by parachute. Had somebody jumped out of an airplane with her package. Landed in Monta's cow pasture safely, walked up and gave her the package, and you'd be surprised what was in it. Her birthday present. I'll tell you. Maybe you'll know. Maybe most of you won't. A box full of coprolites. Now, if any of you had the historical geology from Lee, or maybe heard about it, ask Monta what she did with her box of coprolites on her birthday. Anyway, he was that type of a person, very, very unique. What I'd like to finish up with here is that we have talked a lot about Lee's qualities, traits, his personality, and his attributes. But I think the best way we can do to honor Lee is to live his qualities and traits in our lives. We, the living, carry on, and that's probably the best thing. And do you think that Lee would like to be here this afternoon? Before you answer, let's stop and think. What would he be saying if we asked him this question? And let's do it all together when I say 3. Are you thinking? Does he think he would be here? Would he like to be here? 1, 2, 3. You betcha!
Thanks, Paul Mitchell. And here's Lee Fuzzy Mitchell's older sister, Monta.
And I'm not as talkative as the rest of them. So, but my hair kind of runs in the family, doesn't it? And I didn't realize how many of you guys had beards. But anyway, I'm really happy to see all of you here and know that Lee touched your lives in some way, but you touched his life too. You made it what it was. It was important to him. And I know he did a lot of things for a lot of people, and I know you as his friends will be doing the same thing for others. You'll pay it forward, as they say. When you do, you think of Lee. It's in memory of him, and he liked that. You betcha.
Thank you, Monta.